Hi, my name is Mr. Owens, and today I'll be teaching you about taxes. First thing we need to do is familiarize ourselves with the different terminology that will be used throughout the lesson. Income will be defined as amount of money earned. First set of taxes we're going to learn about is income taxes. Income taxes is going to be a tax directly implied on the money that we earn, be it as an individual or a business. Examples as such would be your mom and dad, your friends' parents, anyone that you know of that is earning money has a sort of tax imposed upon it. Examples on a business standpoint could be Walmart, Starbucks, GameStop, HEB, McDonald's, so on and so forth. If there is money being earned, it is being taxed. Then we have payroll taxes. Payroll taxes is the tax that an employer withholds from an employee to pay on behalf of the employee to the government. Similar to income taxes, but different in the circumstance of how it's paid. Then we have sales taxes. It is a tax that is imposed upon the sale of all goods. That new game that you wanted to buy has sales tax. The new pair of shoes, even going and buying some food from McDonald's or Jack in the Box or Dairy Queen, wherever you choose, whatever you buy has some type of sales tax attached to it. And then last but not least, we have property taxes. Property taxes is a tax that is imposed on individuals that own land or businesses that own land. That applies to everyone, including your parents who own their house or are paying on their house. They're paying some type of property tax on it. First things first, we're going to go over an example of income taxes. For the sake of math today, we're going to say my income this month was $1,000, represented by this Monopoly money. So now we're going to look at the math to figure out what the taxes was on it. So for the sake of this, we have earned $1,000 this month. So here is our math for that. $1,000. Our taxes for that $1,000 is going to be 10%. But the issue therein lies is we cannot multiply 1,000 by 10%. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that 10% into a decimal. And in order to make this work, we have to make sure that the 1 is behind the decimal point. Since we have a whole number here, 10%, we're going to follow that into the 10th place and the 100th place right here. So therein lies, we can nix out our little percentage symbol right here, put a decimal point, and then we're going to plug it into our equation right here. So first things first, the income that we're earning this month is $1,000. But in order to figure out what is coming out for income taxes, which is going to be represented by this X right here, we need to figure out the math for it. Since that is money being taken away from us, we would subtract. And in order to figure out how much we're subtracting, it's going to be represented by 1,000 times the decimal of 0.10. Why 0.10? Because this was the decimal of 10%. So then as we correlate it down, in order to save some time, we're going to input this into the calculator, which will be represented here on my computer. We're going to take 1,000 and we're going to times it by 0.10. It comes out to 100. So then that we're going to plug that back into our equation over here. Becomes 1,000 minus 100. At that point, we can take the parentheses away because we've solved in the order of operations. So it's going to be 1,000 minus 100 equals X. From there, we're going to look our way down. And easily, that's math you can solve. 1,000 minus 100 equals $900 equals X. So $900 is the amount of money I have earned after the income tax is taken out. That in mind, now we're going to move to payroll taxes. Know that this $100 was directly taken out by the federal government. Now, let's erase our board here. So next is payroll taxes. So our payroll taxes is going to again be represented by $1,000. This is how much we're getting paid. Our payroll taxes is going to be 9%. Okay. And then we're going to plug it into the equation. So first things first, we have our income. Since that's taxes we're paying out, it's going to be a minus. We're going to put our parentheses up because we need to solve the value of what's being subtracted. So it's going to be 1,000 times, and it's going to be the decimal of 9%, which we will fill in a moment, equals X, which is going to be the amount after the taxes is taken out. So first, we're going to turn this 9% into a decimal. We're going to have to move 2 decimal spaces because it isn't a percentage of 10. So from that point, we're going to bring this down, and we got to move it over 2 times. So 1, 2 becomes 0.09. That in mind, we can plug this in over here now, like so. So now we still have our $1,000 for right now. Then we're going to go to our handy dandy calculator, which will be 1,000 times 0.09, okay, equals $90. So out of this, so we have 1,000 minus $90 equals X. Now that we have the inside of the parentheses solved, we can take those parentheses away. So now we're going to subtract 1,000 from 90, or 90 from 1,000, correction. That will equal $910. So 910 equals X. This is going to be how much we earned after our payroll taxes was taken out. But remember, the difference between income taxes and payroll taxes is the fact that one is directly taken by the federal government and the other was taken by the employer to pay on our behalf. Now we're going to get into something a little bit more exciting. So next is going to be our handy dandy sales taxes. Let's see. Let's get our money out here. So for the sake of, there we go. We're going to buy a new game today. So our new game is going to cost us $60. Okay? We're going to write that math down right here. $60. That is how much our new game is going to cost us. How about we say it's Fortnite today? From there, sales tax, we're going to make it a nice even 8%. So 8%. So sales taxes is going to be something that's added on to the overall price of what we're purchasing. So in that case, our math is going to be $60 plus, and then we're going to put our parentheses up because we need to solve the value first of what the taxes is going to be, will be 60 times the percentage turned into a decimal equals X. First things first, remember we got to turn our percentage into a decimal. So we're going to move it over 2 places since it isn't a double-digit percentage. 1 and 2. Place a 0 in the front so that it becomes 0.08. Now that we have our equation right here, we're going to go ahead and solve by using our handy dandy calculator. So it'll be 60 times 0.08 equals 4.8. So now we're going to simplify our equation here. Plus 4.8 equals x. Now that we have everything solved for and simplified, we're going to add that together. Becomes $64.8. Obviously, 0.8 is going to be 80 equals x. That circumstance, now our game that we plan on purchasing is going to be a total of $64.80. So that is an additional $5 that we're going to have to pay over the top. So we're going to add that 5 right here. With $65, you would get 20 cents back in change. And just so we can double check our handiwork here, $60 was the price of the game. In order to figure out the sales tax for said game, we had to multiply it by the decimal of the sales tax, which was 8%, and we converted it to 0.08. That way, we brought it down. 60 times 0.08 became 4.8 plus 60. Now we can simplify that even more. It becomes 64.8. We can add the 0 at the end. And then that will equal your x of the price of the game after sales tax included. We had $65 in money laying around. So we're going to subtract $64.80 from 65, and that's going to equate out to 20 cents and change. Now, last but not least is going to be property taxes. Property taxes is paid on your property annually. It is something that is completely separate, and it is not added or subtracted from the value of the property. So for the sake of simple math, once again, we're going to say we bought a house on a piece of property for $1,000. Boy, would that be the dream right there. So $1,000 is how much we paid. Now we need to figure out how much we are paying annually on this property. And by annually, I mean on a year-to-year basis. So first things first, it's going to be real simple. We're going to multiply 1,000 by the percentage that we have listed, which is going to be 2%. Remember, we have to turn this into a decimal before we can multiply. So 2% is going to get moved over 2 decimal places. So it becomes 0.02. Then that's going to be equaled up to x, because x is going to be the amount of taxes that we're paying for this property. So we're going to go to our calculator. It's going to be 1,000 times 0.02. We'll click equal. So that's $20 that we're paying this year in taxes. So going to be 1,000 times 0.02 became 20 equals x. So that's $20 every year that I will be spending on paying for the property that I just bought. Now, with all that in mind, from the lesson we have learned that income taxes is going to be subtracted. So we're going to write this out real quick. Income will be subtracted from how much was earned. Payroll will be subtracted. Sales tax will be added, and then property tax, help if we could spell. Property is neither of.